My name is Katelin Snyder, and I am a coxswain on the U.S. Women's National Team. I started coxing for Winter Park High School in 2002, and then I went to the University of Washington and graduated in 2009. So when I was coxing at Winter Park High School, we were on the water all year round because we were in Florida. So the only thing that I really had to worry about as a coxswain was putting on more clothes. And in Winter Park, Florida, that's not really a big problem because it doesn't even get that cold. But I mean, even at the high school level, things are always more boring in the winter, and we're doing more steady state, and we're doing more technique, and we're trying to build our base fitness. So even when you're on the water in the winter, it's usually pretty boring stuff. You gotta work hard to stay engaged when things are just long and low. Well, I wasn't really worried about being on the water year-round in college because I didn't really know that being off the water would be anything different than being on the water because we didn't spend that much time on land. But when we were on land in high school, I was pretty engaged with keeping track of the erg scores, and we did a lot of cheering, so that was really fun. I would participate in workouts if they were, running or weightlifting, so I wasn't too worried about that in my college decision. So when I got to school in Seattle, I quickly learned that things are a lot colder when you're, up north. So that was hard for me. I had to just kind of learn about being on the water in cold weather and making sure that I was dressed, that I could still do my job even when it was freezing. But kind of once I figured that stuff out, it was a lot of the same thing. At least when we're on the water, it's the same thing as we did in high school, where you're just trying to learn how to row. You're doing a lot of really boring stuff, long stuff. There aren't a lot of pieces, so it's not very exciting. And then in college, we did spend a lot more time on land, either because it was cold or because of NCAA regulations, or just because we needed to get familiar with the erg. And I think I was pretty bored my freshman year, for sure, because I didn't really know what to do with myself when everyone else was erging for the whole practice or for half the practice. Especially in the weight room, we weren't allowed to have coxswains in the weight room because it was small, and we would just kind of get in the way. So no one would tell me what to do. So I kind of had to find things to do, and you can only rearrange the cox boxes so many times. So I started working out more, just on my own. We have some treadmills and Stairmasters that are kind of above the weight room at UW. So that was nice because I could still be with the team, but also be working out and doing my own thing and not kind of getting in the way of their weightlifting. I started to do a lot more typing up scores and recording things and just trying to make myself useful and or kind of out of the way. That was kind of my year to just say what the heck's going on and kind of try and get my bearings on my own. But there were two other coxswains on the team with me, and we all kind of stuck together and tried to figure it out as one, because at least that way, if you're doing the wrong thing, you're not doing the wrong thing alone. You're with a group. So when I came to the national team, I was on the team in the summer of 2009, and when I came in the summer, we were rowing the 8 every day, almost. It was kind of the same thing, I was just getting my bearings straight, really trying to figure out who was who, and make the team. I had a really short window of time to make the team, so I was very focused on my coxing and kind of just figuring out where I was at and what was going on. And then when I came back to the team after the World Championships in 2009, I learned pretty quickly that the national team doesn't row the 8 that often, especially in the fall and the winter and the spring. So when I came back that fall, I really had to kind of, check myself and decide, okay, how am I going to stay engaged and stay present when I don't get to go on the water a lot. So that was interesting. It was hard at first because I wasn't really used to riding in the launch and watching rowing. And I would try to watch, and a lot of times I wouldn't really understand what the coaches were talking about, so it made it kind of boring because I didn't really know what to look for. We did a lot of land workouts, and sometimes I would work out with the girls, and sometimes I would record scores, but there just wasn't a lot of talking, a lot of steady. It was a lot of steady state, and so I had to learn to kind of sharpen my eye so that I could learn what to watch for and how to be engaged. It's definitely, I think it's made me so much better. So learning how to watch rowing in a coaching boat, or learning how to watch rowing on the erg or on video, it obviously doesn't improve your boat feel, but it really helped improve my knowledge of the sport, and that's been really helpful when I'm in the boat to try and kind of help my teammates get on the same page. The more that I know about rowing, the more that I can speak clearly and concisely and try to, get everyone together on the same page. On the U.S. women's team, it's important for me to be around in the winter because I really get to know the athletes, and I get to know them as people, and I also get to know them as athletes. And if I'm watching them and I'm interacting with them, then I can kind of learn where they struggle, physically, and in terms of their physiology, I can kind of learn what each person needs to work on, whether it's something in the weight room or it's a cardio base, or there's a whole slew of things, and that that's going to be really helpful for me when I get into the boat, because I know what's hard for people, and then on the same token, I can learn what is motivating to people. When there are girls that respond really well to something, I can remember that and say, okay, next time I'm in the boat or next time they're struggling, not only am I going to know they're struggling, but I'm going to maybe have an idea of what to do or say to help them get through it. Mm-hmm. And then technically, I think that's the biggest thing. If I'm watching them row and every day I'm seeing them improve or seeing them try to make changes or struggle with a change, then when I get in the boat, it's not even really about what am I seeing or what am I feeling. It's just, I know these girls and I know technically what they're good at and what they need help with, and then that makes me, it makes me able to help them that much more. I think it's definitely really hard. It was really hard for me the first months, years that I had to, watch steady state on the erg or watch pairs on the water. And I think the advice that I would give to a new coxswain is to really learn how to watch rowing in a way that they don't need a coach or a rower to tell them what's going on. They can just kind of look and have ideas for themselves. And I think that, whether you're right or you're wrong about what you see, at least you can start to have a greater understanding of the sport. It makes it a lot more fun when you know how to watch rowing, and it helps you provide more valuable input when you do get on. One thing that's really helped me is that I've started keeping a notebook, and I write down what the workout is, and I also write down, any of my observations for practice, or, I write down what I thought I did well on and where I thought that I could improve that day. And that's been really helpful because time goes by really quickly. Even though it seems like in the moment it's going by really slowly, in no time at all we'll be in the spring or we'll be in the summer and we'll be racing. And for me to kind of be able to go back and look and see, what did I do in the fall and what did I actually observe and where did I struggle, that's been really nice and that's been helpful. And in the fall when I'm not on the water every day, I have more time to kind of focus on that kind of stuff, and getting that taken care of for me is at least like, that's my building the base. Mm-hmm. So their boring steady state is their, building the base, and for me it's just trying to learn more about them and about the sport so that when I do get on the water, my foundation is kind of already taken care of. Weather will probably decide when we get back on the water. And I don't really know when we'll start to row the 8, but I guess my goal is to make sure that I'm ready to row it every day. So I'm doing everything that I need to do so that I'm prepared to hop in at any time.